What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Obviously, judging by the title, you can see that it's another 75 series episode, which I am months and months late to making and releasing. But it's here now, taking you guys back to the day that picked up all the painted guards and body parts. Then I took the chassis to Guildford where it got painted, dropped the painted cab on the chassis, brought it back home, and then started putting it all back together. Fuel tank, fixed up for the body mounts, and then blah, 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 went on from there. So stay tuned. If you enjoy, please like. I really appreciate it. And let's get into it. I've got a car inside a car. Doors, roof, and then as much as I can fit inside in the trailer. Look at that. All right, Mum's on apprentice duties holding the torch for me. I've got to unwrap all this. Hear that? There's a drop bear over there. And the winch just decided to call it quits. All right, now we're back. It's the next weekend. Now I'm gonna hook straight into it, get the fuel tank mounted up, get the fuel lines all running back down through the cab, the fuel filler hose and all that stuff. All right, so the cab is fully mounted up. There's a ladder in the way. That's my tripod, by the way. That's how I make my quality content.
What?
All jokes aside, the cab's fully mounted up now. Got all the 4 cab mounts all sorted out. So that's good to go. Next step will be just mounting the fuel tank to the top or the underside of the cab. And then it's kind of from there, putting the dash back in and the wiring harness and all that fun stuff. I'm going to call it a day for now. That'll be all next weekend where I hook into that stuff and start on that. But I'm super, super stoked. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I've come so far, and there's been so many times where I've just felt absolutely drained, had nothing left in me with this bloody build, chasing my tail around and, you know, things going wrong and, you know, why me kind of situations. But no, I'm super thankful for everything that's happened and, you know, where it is today. And I'm so excited to see it back on the road. Anyway, see you when I'm here next. Do one of those cool transition things. Holy crap, I'm putting the first thing on and I'm already struggling to find my nuts and bolts and all the parts. So it's going to be loads of fun putting this thing back together. I can already see it coming, but it's all right. First thing, put the handbrake back on. Oh, let's get them in right there. Oh, we didn't only put one on, we put the second one on as well. So basically you got these hangers and then these big kind of mounts run across the fuel tank underneath, and then there's a pin that goes through there, and then on the back it bolts up to the top of the cab. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the chassis. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, bloody hell. Always plan in advance and think through fully what's going on. I've stitched myself up. There's a bash plate that covers your fuel tank on the 75s. I don't even know if it's standard. It probably would be. Anywho, saw it, just thought, oh, I'd put it on after, you know, I get the cab back on. I can't get it on. The way it bloody works, it just literally goes over the fuel tank and then those mounts run on the outside of this. But I can't get this past the exhaust. It's an absolute punish, so I don't really know what I'm going to do. It might have to come down to me unbolting the exhaust from the engine manifold and trying to drag the exhaust over and give myself enough room. All right, as always, it's another day. Very sunny. It's a beautiful day. Clifford sitting over there. I got my sound deadening, heat-proof cab mats here that I cleaned up yesterday. They turned out all right. They're actually still a bit damp. God damp it.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
They can go in now, even though they're a bit damp, they'll dry out. So they just kind of sit up against there. They hang off all these little clips that kind of fold back onto them and hold those mats in place. Do that. Now, yesterday I got a bit impatient, stripped the bolt in this fuel filler column kind of filler, and also stuffed up the paint. But that is okay. Got some bolts, got some washers. That way I can just replace that one and I can put a bolt all the way through and then a nut on the other side. You encounter those things. It just saves me buying a new fuel filler tube, which is like $100. So I don't want to do that. Anyway, we'll fix that up, connect all these fuel lines up, and yeah, should be good to continue. I've got 4 fuel lines, and if you don't label them, a few months down the track and you're putting it all back together, you have no clue where to put them. But I've been able to go back in my old phone that I took all my photos on, look through, go back to when I took the cab off, and I can see that, you know, that hose went into that hose and blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna rip all this duct tape off that I put on just to avoid insects going in there and stuff. Rip this off, put them in, should be good to go. Then we can start it up. I wish. Silly boy. All right, let's get this mat in. Figure it out, figure out how it goes again. Uh-oh, he's got the aerosol can out again. It's all about making everything look pretty, putting it back on. Now this shaft that runs from the steering box up into the steering column, it's all rusty, looks like crap, so I've just given it a scruff back. I'm gonna treat the rust, give it a quick spray, and then I can put that on, it'll look brand new. Even little things like this aircon box that kind of runs along the back of your dash against the windscreen, you can see all those vents. Now they're painted white, would have matched the old car. Like I said, it's about the little things, so I'm just going to get some flat black, spray that, it'll match in with the black dash. So yeah, just doing little things, tinkering away, jumping from this to this to this to this to this, and then maybe to that. Now, like I was saying before about those vents, you'll be easily able to see them if they're white. Being black, it's just going to look a ton better against the black dash. So I'm glad I took the quick time to do that. Got the wiring harness in position, the aircon started to get put in. The dash will be in next week and all the wiring should start getting connected back up, which is good. All the lights, everything. I might get the inner guards in next weekend, start connecting stuff back up on there, the battery box, all that stuff. Anyway, I won't get too carried away, but anyway, another cool transition. All right, so I'm kind of seeing this as like a big puzzle. It's just all goes together, you know, that goes in and that went in and then that joined in together, and then they join in together with these brackets mounted top and bottom, and it kind of locks them together airtight. So that's cool, but that's pretty much all the main aircon components now. Now I've obviously got all the, you know, singular pipes that go up to the vents and stuff, but you know, that's very, very cool to see. I'm really happy with that. This is good. All right, so Dash is in now. Looking behind it, as you can see, the aircon system is going in very quickly. Words can't describe how much of a difference, labeling everything. And you know, I've got my bolts underneath this duct tape for this part here. It just makes it so much easier for me. Looking behind the dash, as you can see, the aircon system's going in very, very quickly now. It's all thanks to literally everything being labeled. Passenger side, okay, that goes over there. Passenger side, yep, that goes over there. It just makes it so much easier. So very, very happy that I've done that. All right, came time to start putting all cables and connectors back together, and I realized that this wiring harness should be run behind all the aircon boxes, so I've had to pull it back through, and now I've got to run it behind this one. That way, you know, these connectors can reach down here and all that stuff. So yeah, fun. All right, so I raced out of there from working on the 75, went and picked up some vinyl and fabric paint. Now I've just put a coat on my dash pad. As you can see, it turns out really, really nice. And then also I'm just going to put a coat on my sun visors, as it's fabric paint. I've seen it online, it applies pretty well, so we'll try that instead of having these cream ones, and yeah, spice it up a bit. I've got the back of my steering arm, or steering column I should say, got both my visors, got around my head unit, and then I've also got my dash mat. So a few things getting painted up, but they're all turning out pretty cool, so can't complain. And then I'll paint that black. Whoa, look at that. Now this plate sits on the end of the steering column like that. Now you can see that when you look in the engine bay, and it was all surface rust, full of surface rust. That's why I've given it a quick coat of paint, and I've bloody just chipped it. But anyway, we'll get that on, and then the steering column can go in. So the brake boost is all painted up, came up pretty good. So we'll get that in now. We'll just move that line into the way. Lovely. And there's 4 nuts screwing through the back side of it. Now I changed all the brake booster bolts, bling it up a little bit with the high tensile bolts, so it looks pretty good. Yeah, oh, I can stop the car now. Brake pedals in, brake boosters on, steering columns in, steering columns connected up to the steering box. All little bits of progress, eh? Let's flip this that way so you can actually see. All right, it's been a few weeks since I've been in doing anything on the cruiser. Just had a bit of a break, but I'm back now. I think I've decided, now that most of the electronics are hooked up in the dash, I'm going to get the back of the cab on, the roof, the windscreen surround. I'll get all them on, start getting my inners and lowers on at the front, and then I can start doing the wiring around the engine bay, get the battery connected up, and then that way, before I fully enclose the dash with all the aircon units and you know, aircon switches and stuff, before it's all fully encased and closed in, just make sure all the electronics work in the dash, all my dash lights work. And that way, if something doesn't, then it's easy to get to, and I don't have to go and tear it all apart again. So that's the plan. Rubbers aren't cheap. I think you can get a whole kit for a 75 for about $1,200. I've bought mine all separately, which I kind of do regret, because it works out being a bit more pricey than that. But you go that whole mile with rebuilding the car and restoring it, you may as well, you know, just take that extra step and get all new rubbers and make it look, you know, showroom Mickey Mouse spec. So yeah, but anyway, this has little kind of plastic clips onto the bottom of the back of the cab, and then it all comes down on to the cab as one piece. So we'll go get that and we'll clip this on, and then we can try and place it up there by myself without scratching anything. All right, like I said, the back of the cab just clips on like that, has those little plastic clips, slots into the holes, makes it 20 times easier when you're installing it, so you're not trying to align the rubber with the holes at the same time. So it all just goes on as one piece this way, so can't complain with that. Flip this over without scratching it. If I'm not out of storage, I'm not clicking record. So I just got the back of the cab put up into place, 2 bolts in it. They're just loose, it's still flopping around. I just thought I'd get down and make sure that the rubber's all in the right spot before making it all tight and bolting it down properly. I don't have a hand here today. The old man's at work, so I can't go up and ask him for help. So I'm all on my own today. So that was a bit of fun getting that up, but I just kind of walked it through inside the cab and then placed it into position. But it has a bit of weight in it, so it was fun. All right, so the hinges are bolted up. I've got all the bolts ready for it. This one's gonna be a bit more awkward because just the way I have to hold it and stuff, but we'll see how we go. I think I'm gonna do the same technique as before. Go stand on the inside of the cab and kind of drop it into position. Boy, there's a wasp in me car, eh? Loves the silver color. Oh, what was that? Let's get a few of these. Alright, so this rubber goes on like that. Now, as you can see, when it sits like that, runs down the windscreen down a fair bit, so when you open your door, you can see a lot of that, so this is kind of an important one to replace. But it's purely sticky stuff off. It goes like this other side for the back hooks into the column itself. I probably sound like an idiot calling it a column. I don't know what it is. Now that sits on there, like that. Alright, it took a while, but I finally got this sorted. This had to slip down into the gutter, and now that ran in underneath that. And then especially on this side, this whole thing's running into it. I don't really want to pull it up because all the adhesive is still kind of sticking, but yeah, they're pretty cool how they design those rubbers. Bit interesting. Very interesting shapes, but yeah, anyway, on to the next slide, get that on, and then we'll get the roof on. All right, not one, but two done. They're bolted in. I haven't done them as tight as I can go, just in case I need to undo them to kind of move around the bolt-in holes for the roof. But anyway, speaking of roof, that's the next part. Well, it turns out I haven't ordered a roof rubber yet. I thought I did, but for some reason I haven't. I just went through my order history on eBay, and I haven't. So I gotta wait for that to come in to get the roof on. So while we wait, I'm gonna get the door hinges on, and I'm gonna try and mount up the doors, even though I'm by myself, but that actually might not work, eh? We're gonna give it a try. And then that way the doors are hung, and then I can start putting the A-frame of the door in, you know, the door locks, stuff like that. All right, so we moved to the next day. Now, got both doors mounted. With car doors, there is a ton of adjustment in the hinges. So it's a two-person job to get them exactly right. While one person lifts it, gets it in the right spot, the other person tightens it, etc. Bit random, but what I have to do now, Adonis painted the top part for me, obviously in the silver color that I've gone with the cab. But for some reason, on the bottom of this radiator support panel, the paint kept flaking. Whatever paint he was using, it's just kept flaking like there's something on here, even though it's been sanded down, which is weird. But what I'm going to do is I've just taped up all the, sprayed top edge of it, so I don't get any black paint on it. And then I'm just going to get some matte black aerosol, enamel paint, spray the bottom, and then that will be fine. That part's not seen anyway. All right, that's all painted up. That's turning up good. Got my roof ready. Got a new rubber in the 80. I'm going to get that on and then try and get this roof on by myself without any scratches. Fingers crossed. It's got all dust all over it. It's not all scratched, don't stress. Now, with the rubber, same story. You've got all these little holes. Now, on the rubber, got all these little plastic pins. They literally just slot straight into there, press down hard, and then the rubber's into position. Lucky the 75 isn't lifted. It's nearly going to touch the top of the blue thing. What's it called? Oi! Stop laughing. I'm trying my best. You know, he's stacked it. I'm standing on both sides of my chassis. It's up there, guys. Can take a moment, have a breather. I just had a long, hard think to myself, and it makes 200% sense if I take it back off and I do the sound deadening and the roof lining now. So that's what I'm gonna do. Got the vinyl back at home, so I'll do the sound deadening today, and then I'll just leave it off and do the vinyl tomorrow. I got adhesive spray at home as well. But it's better, you can measure it while it's off the car, get it right while it's off the car. Plus you're not bloody breaking your shoulders trying to get it up in the right spot. Now, it's probably very, very random seeing someone sound deaden a roof, because it's not done, I think, not very often. But I'm more doing it, like usually do it to stop road noise and tyre noise and stuff coming through the bottom of your cab. This is more for when it rains and stuff. It's not blasting your eardrums out through the roof, through the steel. It just stops that noise. Insulates the cab just that touch more. I think I got this whole pack for about 25 bucks, so not bad at all. Might not be the best quality, but that's for us to test out, I suppose. I think it's going to be alright quality though. Beautiful. Now we get our silver foil tape. Now this type of foil tape, it's got like the paper bottom, so you can cut it to your length, then you peel it off and then you stick it down. Get this, peel it back, stick it down. Okay, so because of the sound deadener and the joins in between the sound deadener, if you're laying the vinyl straight on top of that sound deadener, once you put the spray adhesive on and you press it down, you'll see all those joins, all the ripples. So what I've gone and done, went to Clark Rubber, 6mm thick foam, cut it to size. Now, I'll stick that down first and it kind of gets rid of all the ripples. There's still a few, you know, you can kind of feel your finger, but it's not going to be noticeable through the vinyl. So yeah, we'll stick this down and then good for the vinyl. I'm using the Car Builder's spray adhesive. This is a bit more high resistant to heat than the other ones, which you kind of need being on a roof. You know, Australian summers obviously get pretty hot. So I'm going to spray this on both surfaces, on the sponge and on the roof lining, on the roof, sorry. Leave it 1 to 2 minutes until it's touch dry, and then you place it on, and then, yeah, it kind of does its magic. And then on top of that, do the vinyl as well. Cool. Anyway, I'm sure by now the video's dragging on a bit, getting a bit long, so I'm going to end it here. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun putting the 75 back together. There's still obviously a lot more to do. It's starting to rain heavy and I can't really hear myself talking. We got the roof on, the roof's all lined, sound deadened. It actually turned out pretty good in the end, so I'm pretty stoked with that. But yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed, like, maybe subscribe, because I think that's a good idea if you do. But I'm going to rip into it today, and that will be in the next episode, so stay tuned. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Just remember, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Have a good one.